Sounds we are not start already. Quickly. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back with yet another game on our hands. It's going to be Alphazeroes versus El Cartel, and with me tonight is no other but Stu. Stu, so what do you think about the game we have on our hands right now?
What I think is that the audience should tell me if my audio is way too low because I went to and watched back streams and that's been bothering me like all day. But yeah, I'm actually excited for this game. We have El Cartel versus Alphazeroes, and as usual, I'll be either hyping up the winners or tearing down the losers because that's what I do here as a co-caster on the stream. But what do you think we're gonna see? Because we're actually going into the draft phase now. I'm expecting a Kimi ban because that seems to be on the norm. But what do you think, Davis?
See value in me?
Yeah, that
You
Kimi ban
should.
has been a, will I say, a constant now throughout all the stream games from yesterday. So yeah, that's basically sure odds if I've ever heard any. But instead, the first band coming out from El Cartel is actually the Fredrin, which is interesting because Cheesy, now known as Moba Cheesy, Moba Fred, that's his signature pick, especially the last time they were against Shinigami. I believe he picked it 3 times, and it's interesting that they actually opted to ban it, and they actually banned the Irithel, but Alpha Zeros go for that Kimi ban, so that's still 100% guaranteed ban or pick rate for Kimi. And the Uranus, the signature pick brought in by Tata, and it seems everyone is scared of it now.
Portfolio is within my
But El
hands.
Cartel with the first pick, and they are going for that Badang, so we won't be seeing Conquest on his not so strong support heroes, but instead a strong frontline hero like Badang to give them that space that they need to engage.
Well, yeah, I think that Fredrin ban is actually paying respects to Big Bobby Hades in the side of Alpha Zeros. Because if you remember, like during the time when Alpha Zeros were at their peak, the tank jungle was really prevalent, and Fred was one of those heroes that Hades would constantly pick up. But actually,
Yeah,
I see this Badam pink for Conquest. You can tell that it's a confidence pick. He's played the hero, he feels confident with it. So yeah, why not? Why not just lock it in first? But we're actually seeing a glue
Hope will
and the
fade away,
Sicilian
leaving
response,
an
and I'm
awful warning.
surprised to see the Vexana. I was expecting more of a Faramis pick here, but instead we get a Vexana, probably to match the range of a Sicilian in those team fights, whilst you countering the glue pick. But what are you
yeah.
thinking about the pick so far, Davis?
Yeah, I mean, that Sicilian was basically a gift. Actually surprised that it took this long for a team to actually focus on this Sicilian because he used to be a guaranteed pickup ban mage for so long in the Nigerian meta. And we have not seen it as much in the past few games that we spectated. But right now we see that
The immortal
Sicilian
one
pick
chose me to
and then
push the
the
shadows
glue
that
and
cling to this
the
world.
the final room pick from Alpha Zeros going to be that Kalea. So I don't know, since her nerf, she hasn't been that much of a priority. So it's interesting to see Alpha Zeros coming out with this lineup. And the bands, they actually take out the Suyu while El Cartel go for that 1-1. That 1-1 is actually um a very important band because that
Pain
is one hero I
is the
know would
proof
not
that I'm
allow
still
Conquest the
alive.
free roam to actually roam. But Alpha Zeros going in for that Brody, and we see Super Hatred actually tethering on that Moskov. What do you think, Stu? Do you think he will be as confident as he was in the last match?
tyrant of wrath,
I feel that this is kind of a repeat of the matchup that we saw in Nayad Boy and Glaze Bonds, but it's
Yeah,
not with the Beatrix now. It's with an actual weaker early game marksman, and that's the Moskov. So I feel that the side of El Cartel will have to put a lot of pressure on the gold lane to ensure that Super Hatred doesn't get out farmed here by Ashley. But yeah, we haven't seen the Sicilian pick. I think in the entirety of this tournament on stream, and I
yeah,
feel that is actually for good reason because. Contrary to what a lot of the Nigerian meta slaves believe, that's what I'm gonna
yeah,
call them, is that like Sicilian doesn't have that strong of an early game. And
yeah,
that's something that's been prevalent even before current nerfs. So we kind of had this struggle, or rather we had this like reoccurrence where games would extend longer than they should, and you will see it in pro scenes that doesn't happen as much. You pick a Sicilian, you get invaded, you get no chance for a comeback, and the game
yeah,
ends in 10-12 minutes. But we've started to see a higher skill level over here,
mm,
and that
yeah,
comes with the fall off of the Sicilian wank meta. But yeah, I would love to see the performance here from Sociopath, because even though I have said that, I have to acknowledge how strong of a pick that this Sicilian becomes when the game drifts into the late hours, and
yeah,
especially like when you have a comp that outranges the enemies. But I think I saw a pause email from Void Hacker here in the mid lane,
yeah.
so I'm not
I saw.
sure what's up with that. I don't know if the ref is paying attention, but maybe that was just an incidental spam. But yeah, the
Yeah,
carrier pick. I'm not completely off of that, but that fizz crack from Conquest is going to send Chimera down to quarter HP here with the combination for the damage from Void Hacker on that Vexana. But with the early matchups here, what are your bets for the first fights, the first total fights? We don't have Emmy with us here today, so we can't say that there's gonna be a curse on the on the team that
yeah,
we
that's
bet
true.
for. So Davis, how do you think this is gonna fan out?
I mean, for the early game, we are actually seeing since El Cartel having that more of an early game comp currently. So I think I would favor them for these early game skirmishes. But going into the late game, I think they're going to have to pick their fights very carefully because that scaling of both the Brody and the Sicilian with the turnabout memories and the bad fests is going to be quite a very, very tough battle for them to, or a tough hurdle for them to overcome. And I don't know, given their skills, I would say that I can trust them to do it. But given their recent performances, I won't say that I have so much faith in them, especially after their most recent performance against Shinigami. But let me not be a bringer of bad news. Let's see. Possibly they were able to put in a better performance right now. But the total is up actually, and Hades is nowhere near contests, and we see Cheesy actually doing some work, and this is going to be possibly a test of the rhetoric for both junglers. And we know how Cheesy was actually out rhetoric Levi, but we see a bad first going into the back line while Conquest tries to zone, and then a heavy spin, but the cutting call comes in, and that spell of destruction from Moskov comes in, and we see the grab from this glue hanging in while Cheesy actually falls. Is the first to fall there. The cutting call actually saving Cyan. And once again, Moskov, super hatred on that Moskov falls as well. And Zadi somehow, some way, actually just casually walks away with his life. So that was actually a 2-4 nothing trade with the total secured by Big Daddy Hades. I mean, El Cartel are the ones with the early game pump, and they are losing early game. Is today Paradox Thursday?
I wouldn't really say that El Cartel have the early game comp, because you can see that the Brody is very, very oppressive in the early game. You can see how Ashley actually rotated for that fight, secured one of their kills there. And I feel like a very big problem that came in with this fight here was how El Cartel had to split between two different fights, because when Zadi was on Super Saiyan there with the grab, El Cartel couldn't actually have, like, they tried to respond by collapsing on the glue, while Cheesy was just left alone with the rest of the enemies. Like you saw, the cutting call came in from Super Saiyan, really grouped a bunch of them, and Big Daddy Hades was actually going very low in HP. But the moment that grab came up and Super Saiyan had to retreat, Cheesy found himself isolated, and that led to the downfall for Alcatel in that also. But yeah, now you can see Alphazeroes is really trying to take control of the gold lane, taking the most advantage that they can out of that Brody early game dominance, not giving Super
Yeah,
Hatred any chance to farm here. And they've pushed the entire gold. But Conquest with the fist crack, that
that was
drop from
insane.
Vexana going to be shutting two of them down. Kynera and Ashley fall here. This is why they say you don't push your luck. You try and get as much as you can, and then you don't overextend. You flee the crime scene. Is more of my way of saying this. But this is not going to be all they're going to get. They're going to get that blue buff from Hades here and secure that also. Well, let's see how this total
Yeah.
fight pans out.
I mean, that was very well played from Conquest. They actually took that initiative there since they overstayed their welcome and made them feel unwelcome. That was very well played. And while they were doing all that, Cheesy was busy farming in the bot lane. And actually, for that red tree, we see Hades out treacherying him, and if fight breaks out, um, Conquest sadly falls after Chimera fell, but we see a spear of destruction. But he hits nobody but Natalia. Even Natalia, I think she didn't even get hit by that. But yeah, that was actually a one for one trade. But Alpha Zeros somehow, some way, they managed to secure that total, even possibly, will I say, with the superior and possibility being in the side of Lance on Cheesy with that Lance. I was expecting him to actually secure that, but Hades with the superior entry and he secured it. And while all that was happening, we see Ashley coming through with that destruction of the first tower up top. Uh, so far, it's not looking good for El Cartel. We can't even say they are going to throw this game at this point because Alpha Zeros are completely in control, and they are the ones with the late game comp. It's not looking good, Stu. I don't know how much these guys are going to hold on until we have a game two.
Right now we're actually sitting at an around 1.5k gold difference. The Alpha Zero is currently in the lead. They're actually trying to get that. Oh, but there's gonna be a kill onto Zadi in the top lane. But you can see how quickly this Brody is farming up here. Canera with a tidal strike going in for the tsunami slam, and it's gonna be Ashley. Oh, but he pops the vengeance, but he's not gonna be able to save him as the turn up our memories will slay him now. SOD landed, but is he gonna follow through? No. Looks like Super Hatred is not going to follow that through. But ooh, look at the top lane here. Super Hatred getting killed by Sociopath. The late game hero getting executed by the other late game hero here on the side of Alpha Zeros. But then look, Cheesy is gonna get caught by the fist crack from Conquest. Is going to put it back. He gets caught by that grab. He tries to. Ooh, but is he gonna survive this? He's not
Oh,
able. Oh, but looks like his Sadie is gonna get stunned in the tower. And it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade, but in the favor of Alpha Zeros. It's another tussle for them.
I mean, that
But
was
looks
very,
like
very well
Chimera
played.
isn't done. The conceal comes from the fist crack onto Chimera, and then he uses the tsunami slam. Big Daddy Hades is gonna be able to survive and secure that turtle. He uses the heavy spin to break out that fight. Wow.
That was actually very well played from Alpha Zeros. The layering of the skills and their priorities actually. They are, even though they are losing at some points, they aren't completely letting their advantage go. They are also trying to reel back in whatever they can and keeping a mild tempo on the game until the late game when they know that all their heroes will be online. I mean, so far so good. Like I said, I was expecting El Cartel to take more control of the early game while Alphazeroes takes the late game. But they are actually on par right now with I think Alphazeroes is actually having that 2k gold lead now at this point of the game. And even with Cheesy trying his best to keep up with Big Daddy Hades, once eventually we get to from the I think from the 10th minute mark to the 12th minute mark, when we are seeing Sicilian having most of his stacks, it's going to definitely be a tough game for El Cartel to maintain and possibly even win.
Yeah, but you have to give props to this Moskov on the side of El Cartel. He is kind of a late game hero in himself, and the front line coming in from El Cartel is mainly just conquest. Super Saiyan is on a CC, which doesn't really provide much front. So, in all, the side of Alpha Zeros has a better late game draft, but at the same time, they still do have a better early game draft because it's more balanced with that Kadia and Brody from Ashley. But yeah, I can see this getting being a steeper and steeper hill to climb for the side of El Cartel, albeit everything's possible in Mobile Legends. We've seen 10k goal deficits comebacks here, so I'm still excited to see how the rest of the game goes out. But look like that is going to be a tsunami slam from Canera onto Hatred, but he's going to be able to purify that. Hades trying to offset them with the heavy spin, but looks like the SOD coming in from Super Hatred is going to go into the backline. He's going to try, and he's going to get this kill onto Zadi, but the turn up our memories is going to eliminate him here. We have only two members on the side of El Cartel alive here. Void Hacker and Cheesy. Is going to be a 3v2 for this Lord take. Are they going to try and contest this? Are they going to reset? But no, it looks like Ashley is going to reset here. But no, Cheesy not trying to let Daddy Hades go. But it's going to break out as they all retreat and recuperate for the next of the next fight. But yeah, as you can see here, Moskov really just tearing through their backline with all that damage. But oh, that flicker coming in from Chimera and the tsunami sound followed by the heavy spin, and it's going to be Void Hacker that drops from that surprise engage. And wow, this went from an equal contest to being one-sided here with Alpha Zeros taking the lead. But looks like Cheesy not going to let Sociopath go. The Bat Wings actually trying to save him as he goes, but Conquest using the conceal and the fist crack to try and break this out. But are we going to see this? No,
Kyrie.
it's going to
Oh,
be
never mind.
Hades. Kill this Lord. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that was very well played for from Cheesy. He actually almost got a kill on Sicilian, but we all know how hard Sicilian is to kill, especially when he pops the bad first and he gets that revitalized from it. So he did quite well there, but unfortunately his efforts were not enough. Well, I want to talk about that wombo combo actually coming from Big Baby Hades and Kynera. You see that tsunami slam, and then followed by the heavy spin to pin her to the wall. That was some beautiful work done by both of them. They had to be on the exact same wavelength to pull that off, and they pulled it off spectacularly. They especially taking into account that Haka had already used his purifier. So that was a very well played. And actually, we see a skirmish going on once again with that tsunami slam, getting it onto conquest, and we just see Hades zoning them out with that heavy spin. So now almost all the heroes, in fact, all the heroes for Alpha Zeros are online, and we actually seeing them dominating El Cartel. El Cartel can barely even stand in the same wavelength with them right now. And now with the minions coming in and pushing with the Lord, I think the Lord was just taken down at top, but they are still going to secure that tower for free. Um, Alpha Zero is now completely in control of this game. I can't see El Cartel coming back into this game. No matter what, whatever play that Conquest may come up with, whatever he may hook up, whatever wombo combo they have in mind, I don't see that bringing them or reeling them back into this game. It's looking like it's getting way, way more out of reach with each passing seconds too.
I feel like a very big issue for the side of El Cartel here is the amount of range that they're going to need to contest or compete with the Sicilian. But looks like the grab is going to go on to Cheesy. The heavy spin coming in from Daddy Hades, and it's going to be the Tsunami Slam that takes Cheesy down. And it's a killing spree by Sociopaths onto Super Saiyan. The grab coming in from Glutron, and it's going to be another grab onto Conquest. Triple kill from Sociopaths as only Super Hatred remains. Is he going to
You
be able to
see that
defend this? Oh,
once
looks
again
like the
that
Bath Claws is going to
Sicilian
miss
pick.
onto Hatred. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
Sicilian
Sicilian
pick.
pick, man. I said it and I called it. Though it may look like a mediocre pick, but we all should remember that this is the Nigerian meta. No team has that. Uh, well, I don't want to say most teams or no team, but I would say most teams. Most teams don't have that lethality to finish a game before 12 minutes when these heroes will come alive. It always usually drags to the late game, and at that point, it's almost a guaranteed win for any lineup that has these end game heroes.
Oh,
But
but
once again, we see an engage onto conquest and that grab getting conquest, and with the turnabout memories, Ashley actually finishes him off. So once again, there's nobody that can even come up to the team of Alphazeroes to give that space for the other parts or the other teammates of El Cartel to actually make a play. Alphazeroes are completely and utterly dominant right now. Whoever steps up, they get taken down instantly. That is the dominance that we're seeing right now. And that is what El Cartel should have done their best to avoid, but they failed. That was their only objective for the early game, and they failed right from the very first minutes too.
that's right. They came in guns blazing and they just got raided by the police. Except for the police code is called Alphazeroes. The heavy spin coming in from Hades here, but he's going to try and retreat here as the cutting call will pin him and Zaddy together. Whoa, that looks like they're going to survive it, but that big
Oh,
fish crack coming from Conquest and the Iron Fist. Oh, but he managed to survive the turn apart memories for Brody with a sliver of HP, and they leave to fight or defend another lord. But no, looks like they're not done here. Void Hacker trying his best to zone them out with that damage and that CC. But Cheesy, it's actually not going to be able to secure this. But yeah, he looks like the Super Saiyan onto the Ashley, but the Wind of Nature is going to make him survive. Turn apart
oh,
memories is going
that
to be able
fade
to
away.
eliminate him, and then the Bast the Blood Wings. Oh, Super Hatred with his own Wind of Nature, but he's still going to fall, and it's going to be Cheesy that secures those kills. We have the grab onto Conquest here from Zadi, but Conquest is actually able to evade that last stick from him, and Zadi
That
is
was
going to
actually
actually
very
be able
well
to
done.
escape this.
Yeah. That was very, very well played from Cheesy. He actually went to the back line and secured the kills that he needed to secure with the help of Super Hatred. So kudos to them. Though Super Hatred eventually fell, he fell with dignity, he fell with pride. He was a true warrior. He got the job done, and then he fell. That's a true warrior's death right there. So kudos to them. They are actually trying to really back him. I thought that was not possible, but I think Alphazeroes are overstepping their advantage a bit and getting a bit too overconfident. So they should probably take a step back, review their chances and be more tactical in their plays. But once again, we see El Cartel actually trying to push that first turret, the middle turret, but the members of Alphazeroes are back and they are back at their full strength with their full numbers. And I think they are once again trying to take control of the map. We see actually a Tsunami Slam going in for Cheesy, but I think that was a bit of an overestimation once again. And they actually disengaged because that was completely pointless. There was no one to dish out the damage. I think Ashley now being a bit more cautious, seeing how much damage comes out from Cheesy and Super Hatred, so she wasn't too keen on taking that fight. But the load is up still. I mean, who do you fancy taking it?
The Lord is up, but it looks like there's going to be a fist crack for Conquest. The heavy spin from Hades is going to be able to shot to keep Conquest at bay. But no, it's actually going to be Chimera that drops here. Zaddy trying to escape this, but the cutting call and damage from Super Saiyan is actually going to be able to secure this kill here. We have the back claws from Sociopath catching Super Saiyan, but the fight is going to break out. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that you can look at the items from Moskov here. He has now completed his full build, and while he would have enough damage to deal with the members of, oh, but no, he actually gets caught by those bad claws.
Whoa.
But he's actually managed to escape that with his skill 1 dash. But Super Saiyan not giving up, and he's going to drop that cutting call onto Hades, and it's going to be
Whoa.
cheesy to secure that kill. And it looks like this is going to be their lord.
What is
Secured.
going on?
But oh, Super Hatred, he puts on his Wind of Nature and Ashley trying to
Yo.
kill him, but no, he cannot. He drops to the damage from Cheesy here. Cheesy not letting go, but looks like it's gonna be a tsunami slam that shuts him down from Chimera, but the fist by fist coming onto Sociopath from Conquest, and the grab trying to get his sociopath's teammates to safety. But in the back line, we're gonna see Chimera drop. Wow, there's just so much happening in this fight, and you can see that this Moskov is finally online. His problem was the range, but Cheesy is just giving him that backup. He deals all the damage, and Cheesy does the finishing, and they're able to secure this. But looks like the blood wings, the bat wings are going to go up, but
Whoa,
no,
look at
Zaddy
that.
tries to use the grab, and he's still going to fall. They have a Lord marching down in the bottom lane, while the rest of their team members are going to have to spawn to defend this. But what do you think is going to happen in this Lord defense,
That
Davis?
was actually quite interesting. I think Zaddy underestimated the burst from that heart guard and the passive of Vexana, and he overstayed his welcome right there, and she actually made him pay. But we see Big Daddy Head is trying to get that early damage into the Lord, but he actually gets caught with that fist break, fist crack combo, and Super Hatred actually gets Chimera down. That was actually very well played. We thought El Cartel were the ones who were the masters of the throw, but Alphazeroes actually showing them new levels to the true game. And just like that, the Lord gets access to the base. And with hatred hitting, free hitting, that's actually a guaranteed game one. We said I Cartel was synonymous with true, but Alpha Zeros or Alba Zeros, like they are now going to be called, actually through that game. And one somehow, some way, I called it, I said it, and I said Alpha Zeros were not going to lose, and Alpha Zeros went on a mission to prove me wrong. El Cartel securing that first game with Void Hacker getting that MVP. I mean, despite the overwhelming pressure from this the team roster of Alpha Zeros, he actually played his best and actually put up some good numbers, some incredible numbers to get them this win. I won't say it's a well-deserved win, but I will say a win is a win still.
As we can see here, sociopaths on that 8-1-10 KDA. You can really tell that this player did his best, if despite facing off an assassin like Lancelot and the SODs coming in from Super Hatred. He was actually able to stay alive for majority of the game, dealing
Yeah,
48% damage. And if I was on the side of El Cartel, I would just ban this hero. It's not about the fact that the hero has a weak early game. You can just tell that when a player is in his element, you give him that respect ban, and that Sicilian actually does have to go if they want to have a better chance of winning the next game. But Super Hatred here actually dealing 15k turret damage at 81%. You can see that he was really focused on the towers here, getting up that gold and waiting to the late game where he can actually shine and be in his
yeah.
element. And kudos to him for executing that. But let's go into the next game. Well, we're gonna see if we would have as much as a constant fight game that we had in this one, or we'll see more calculated risks taken. But either way, I believe that we're gonna have some violence on screen. And yeah, if you're watching this, don't forget to leave a like. It goes a long way to getting more people to enjoy this content.
Yeah, I mean, this was actually a match worth living a like for. So yeah, that was actually very well played from both teams. And I mean, Should we point fingers? I don't I don't want to point fingers, but yeah, they they did very well while we're waiting on game two. For some reason, some people are asking me for airplane in the chat. So possibly I need
What?
to get to the airport. Uh, Ido is asking me for an airplane in the chat, so I'll have to get to the airport tomorrow to
You can tell him
get.
to fall asleep so he can have one in his dreams. That works as
I
well. I
mean,
do it all the
I
time.
don't know. I don't know if he'll be dreaming. So let's give that a guaranteed. Okay. So some people are actually asking for a shout out. So Edogawa Mugen, shout out to Edogawa Mugen. And I believe Karen. So shout out to Edogawa Mugen. Shout out to Karen who are in the stream chat, and then shout out to everyone else, especially those bearing the on the leaderboards. So yeah, shout out to you all and thank you all for making it a date with us. It seems our ref is having a bit of an issue. I don't know. I think I will just create a lobby then if he's unavailable so we can get started with the game.
Yeah, looks like we're running into difficulties with our ref. But yeah, I think like you should be able to start a lobby, and I would just leave all the ref duties to you because why not? But yeah, shout out to everyone
Please.
that into the live chats of the stream. Yeah, Davis already has called out your names, so I'm not gonna do that. But for now, yeah, I don't think we're seeing any changes from the lineups of both teams here. Which is kind of a contrast to what we saw yesterday with a bunch of debut picks as well as a constant lineup change in all three games. Actually, uh, don't
Yeah.
am I right?
Yeah, you're quite right. Yeah, I think for all three games there was at least one change to each team's roster. So yeah, but unlike yesterday, I think now the teams are actually this is the starter teams for both sides, and there are no changes and no tempers flared at this point. So seems we're going to have a smooth transition from game one to game two. So yeah, that's actually a good thing, I guess, that keeping that synergy. But I don't know if Alphazeroes want to actually keep that same tempo though, because that loss definitely cannot feel good because they had it in the bag. They had the late game heroes. They had everything they ever wanted. It's like getting a genie's lamp, and getting those free three wishes, and somehow, some way, you just throw the lamp away and decide that you want to brave the world. Oh yeah, we'll be going into game two as soon as both teams are ready.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are actually ready now, so you can start. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the problems that came in from the previous game was just not taking those calculated risks, not picking your fights. Um, I feel like they might have learned a lesson from this, and we would see more of a controlled game, a more controlled gameplay coming here into the game too. But other than that, yeah, still just gonna be looking forward to the draft adjustments. We're probably gonna see another Kimmy ban, maybe from the side of El Cartel this time, so that it doesn't fall into the hand of Alpha Zeros. But what do you think we're going to see here, Davis?
Once again, like you said, that's Kimi ban, always a guarantee. For I think they're going to take some notes from the first game. I think I'm going to call it a Sicilian ban from El Cartel. I mean, they dealt with it pretty well, but typically it's kind of messes up their comp. So anything that will bring them discomfort, I think they should take out. And I think I want to see that Sicilian ban because though they eventually took care of it, they weren't doing so well initially at the early game. But for the first ban, they're actually going for that Uranus, which is interesting. And more interesting is Alpha Zeros somehow missing a ban. So I don't know if there are some internal scuffles going on right now. We don't know how tempers can be especially after losing a game like that game one. But El Cartel ban out that Irithel, and once again, Sociopath getting a chance to explore his sociopathic tendencies with that Sicilian peak. We see Super Hatred hovering over that glue, and he actually locks it in. I mean, I didn't. Well, glue was a very good pick to the side of Alphazeroes, but it wasn't exactly that much of a problem because Super Hatred actually dealt very well with it with that CC. But they actually get that backshare on, I don't know if that's going to be on Conquest or it's going to be on Cheesy, but whatever it may be, an answer from Zaddy with that Xbox due.
Yeah, you see, this is one of the problems when you pick too many tanky heroes quite early into the game. You can see their immediate response is an X-Bug and actually a Fredrin here. It's just so that they can actually counter that tanky composition and deal a bit of sustained, prolonged damage to their frontliners. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a carry ban in the next phase as they have not secured a marksman here, but Conquest Conquest on that Baxia. We still don't know if it's gonna be a jungle Baxia because they might be swaps. But right now we're seeing Sociopath on his Comfort Sicilian and an X-Bug. But oh, it looks like we're gonna be seeing another Moskov pick here. Uh, which is interesting and actually kind of goes um, pretty well against the Fredrin. And of course, yes, so Brody ban because you don't want to see that coming into the next phase when you are when he was actually so effective in the early game against this Moskov. But what do you think we're gonna see as the next set of picks here, Davis?
That's actually very interesting because uh I mean I wasn't expecting Super Hatred to go on that Moskov again, given how long it took him to come online, but getting that pick and then banning out that Brody now makes sense, especially since Irithel was banned previously. But we see a Lilia ban on the side of Alpha Zeros. I mean, Void Hacker, he is not
Wow, no,
a one
no
trick.
way,
But I
no
mean,
way.
it's a good pick. You could say it's a good pick depending on their game plan. He he won't be easily bossed down by the likes of Xborg. But I know that's going to be free stacks for Sicilian all day, every day in the mid lane. Uh, Ashley actually opting for that Granger pick, while Chimera going for the Lolita, the Rockstar Alfie special. I mean, given that it's only Super Hatred, Super Saiyan actually, or eventually it'll be Super Hatred on that Moskov that releases any form of projectile. I don't know how useful this Lolita is going to be, but Cheesy actually getting rid of all that Mobazine aura from the last match and actually playing two assassins this game. He opts for the link, which is interesting. That's going to be focus on Sicilian from both the link and the Moscow. So far so good. I would say they have all bases covered. Um El Cartel actually looking much better this time around compared, like going from the early game all the way to the late game. They're actually looking much better compared to their early game heroes last time. But I would say that generally I still favor Alpha Zeros to take these games too.
I'm conflicted because Zask. I know we spoke about Davy picks, but this is a pick I can't quite wrap my head around. Even the Chimera picking up this Lolita, the Matilda was actually quite a great pick to complement the current comp that they have, adding a bit of
Yeah,
mobility, shield, and healing. Even some disengage and engage, but looks like they're actually going to go. Maybe they were trying to counter pick, or rather, like counter pick ahead of time, something like a carry jungle, if that was something that they were predicting. But nonetheless, we're in the game. We're going to see how it fans out. Um, we have this Zask pick is feeding gold to his enemies with that spawn. And that's what I see when I look at the Zask in the mid lane. But currently we have Ashley actually um leading the tempo in this gold lane versus Super Hatred with this Granger. But yeah, you did mention how the comps are actually more balanced, but oh no, Conquest is actually going to miss that stun onto Ashley, but looks like it's gonna break out. It's not gonna be a fight. They're all still level 2. We spoke about having a more controlled game here, but I think that we're actually gonna be in for a lot more action. But what do you think, Davis?
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. For the jungling space, it seems Cheesy is actually having a bit of an advantage, just a slight advantage at the early game currently. But for this aspect, I mean, I know that you seem to have a problem with it, but let's not forget, it's not the hero, it's the player, and you are forgetting who is on that Zas. It's Void Hacker, man. I don't think Void Hacker is a player to take any picks lightly. If you can recall, he picked Veil, which was also regarded as sort of an unorthodox pick back then. And he actually did so well. He carried his team with Veil, and Veil is nowhere near the meta. I can't even classify him as a B class hero, as a B class mage, but he did the job that he was meant to do. And even on this SARS, I think that Void Hacker will actually deliver as he's supposed to. The total is actually up, and we see Big Daddy Head is actually starting it up while Cheesy is still on his red. Just to zone out, we see Lolita going forward and Zaddy going in, but even before that, even before Cheesy can come in, you see that last insanity pop to the back line actually, and Conquest taking down as the first blood. With Tempest of Blades coming in, and then their Spear of Destruction. The Dominator's Ascent actually ascended, and he has descended, and nothing came of it. But right now, we are seeing Alphazeroes actually taking the initiative and taking that goal lead. I mean, it's slight; it's about 300 right now, but this can propel them to another win. But let's not forget what happened in game one still. I'm scared. I'm scared that now that they have gotten this advantage so early, they may once again throw.
I any modicum of action that goes wrong on the side of El Cartel, I'm just going to blame it on the Zas pick. I'm saying this ahead of time so everybody knows. But right now we see Conquest trying to engage. She's going to get stunned out by Canera, but it's going to be the split and the grab from Super Saiyan here that will get that kill. Zaddy actually trying to survive here with the last insanity, but Cheesy with that link
Oh,
not
oh
going to
my
let him,
God.
and it's gonna be, oh no, he doesn't get his four swords, and he's actually not going to be able to secure this kill, and he drops
Ooh.
to the tower damage here. Spear of Destruction coming in, but not being enough damage to drop Sociopath on that Sicilian. That is what I would term an overextension on that fight there in the mid lane. They got Chimera. They kind of got greedy. They wanted to drop the Sicilian as well. He decided to take all the tower shots. That's very bad play in my opinion. But what do you think, Davis?
I mean, yeah, I would just say it was a bit unfortunate. If he had gotten the sword picks as at when he was supposed to, that would have definitely been a guaranteed kill. But I won't call that greed at all. I would just say it was unfortunate circumstances right there. But you see that engage Void Hacker that started that whole sequence. That all stemmed from Void Hacker, and he kind of got something out of it. But once again, Alphazeroes is actually getting that turtle uncontested because Cheesy definitely has other pressing matters in his own jungle to take care of. But they are doing the best that they can given the resources that they have. I don't know if they're going to want to rely on the late game, but we see an engage actually going in on Conquest with the Luminum Blast, and then that Rhapsody going in even with the Appraiser's Wrath, and Conquest eventually falls. That Tempest of Blades going into Chimera, but she just flickers. He just flickers out. So that Dominators are sent just to zone out Hades and give Super Hatred some space to clear out the minion waves. That was a 1-0 trade to the sides of Alphazeroes. Uh, I mean, they are still trying to push that initiative, push that advantage, and extend their goal lead, but is barely tethering at a 1 point 3K right now. I don't know. So far, Alphazeroes are actually doing the Lord's work. They are actually doing the work. But once again, I'm still scared, man. Oh, we see Ashley walking into an unfortunate bush right there, and Super Saiyan with the grab actually gets her. We see the last insanity from Zaddy to the back line, and he actually gets that revenge kill while Conquest falls to Big Barbie Hades, cheesy, and the spell of destruction coming from Super Hatred actually goes to the back line, trying to secure that kill on Big Barbie Hades and actually gets it. No, actually, that's Void Hacker. Void Hacker is actually on a killing spree right now. Still, I called it, man. There's no one else on this map that is on a killing spree but Void Hacker with the same pick that you questioned.
Sometimes you see some heroes just last hitting, and sometimes you see majority of the damage coming in from Cheesy here. Like I said, everything that goes wrong, every tower they don't convert, every every kill they don't claim is gonna be
Yeah,
blamed on that Zas here from the side of El Cartel. But as you can see, like they just expended all of their skills, getting that kill on Conquest and Super Saiyan. That Cheesy was actually just able to come together with Super Hatred here and reap all that damage and claim some kills. But it looks like Super Saiyan is actually going to get the grab onto Ashley. He's going to be caught back in, but he actually flickers out to survive that. Conquest tanking against two with the
oh,
stick
spell
stick
of destruction.
with the last insanity coming in from Conquest, and is going to be able to secure that kill onto
Boom.
Conquest. The appraiser that actually slams Super Hatred back to the
Oh, that was
fountain right now.
that was
And
a
we
nice
have,
bonk.
oh, but looks like Void
No,
Hacker is going to get
no.
taunted. Spawn does not save him. Cheesy trying to reap the most damage to be able to try and get something out of this. Super Saiyan, but no. The last insanity
Oh,
from Zaddy is going to be able to secure this kill. He's not done yet as he goes after Super Saiyan next. And he will drop two. It's going to be a 4-for-2 trade in favor of Alphazeroes. Actually, a 4-for-1. We actually only Ashley drop in here. And as you can
yeah.
see, the Zask was just in the back chilling when all of that was occurring. A feathered airstrike from Mufasa, maybe some immobilize from Xavier could have assisted in that fight, but you can see how the Zask pick is just taken away from all of the value that El Cartel can get out of their fights.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to blame Disask for that. I'm actually going to blame that on Super Hatred. So when the spell of destruction actually got into the back line, we had I think that was the Granger and the Sicilian low, and he could have actually gone in to get those kill secures and coming in from the front would have been Cheesy and Void Hacker to get that complete wipeout, but he stayed a tad bit too long, and Alpha Zeros were able to recuperate, and come together somehow, some way, reel that fight back in. But we see the Shield Unity actually going in on Zaddy, but he pops that last insanity defensively, while Super Saiyan goes in for the grab on Sociopath, but he flickers out immediately so that he doesn't get dragged back to the teammates and eventually taken out. There are some resources expended right there. I don't know how much those resources would be needed in the Lord dance that's going to come up in about 40 seconds. But so far, I think Alpha Zero still have a firm grip on this game. And once again, barring any true tendencies, any bad tendencies, I would say that they have this game in the bag still.
uh what's strange about this game currently is that as it stands, Alpha Zeros does have about like a 3k gold lead over on El Cartel, but right now it's actually El Cartel that has the map control. They are the ones that are taking on the major bushes. They are the ones that are controlling the pressure here. But no, actually, it's reversed here. As for this law take, we have Alpha Zero is actually zoning out the members of El Cartel. So that's just to
Yeah.
show that despite the gold lead, they're kind of at an equal place now, and they just need one fight or one split push like we're seeing from Super Hatred, to just break that tension and give one side an edge over the other. But right now it's like Alpha Zeros is actually going to try and start this Lord. Not a full commit as the Lord dance goes on. We have Cheesy, but no, the grab coming in from Safer saying here, Ashley going to be cut out in the back line, and the Spear of Destruction comes in from Super Hatred, but no, he's not going to take that, and it's going to be Conquest that gets cut out by that taunt coming in from Hades. But ooh, Conquest is going to
Oh,
drop
what
to
was
that
that?
nominal blast, but look at Cheesy in the back line. He's dealing so much damage to Sociopath. He's going to be able to take out the immortality of Zaddy, but Zaddy is going to escape that. The last insanity comes in, but Void Hacker actually flickers out the flicker from Chimera for by the stun. But the Super Hatred is going to be able to secure this kill onto Chimera after actually joining this fight late. And it's actually going to be a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Alphazeroes here with their junglers, both sides junglers still alive.
I mean, that was a bit unfortunate once again. Cheesy actually wanted to go to the back line. I saw him from that Finch poise. He was actually going in to the back line, but he got stunned mid-air and he just landed in a bit of an unfortunate spot. That would have actually had a different outcome if things had panned out the way El Cartel wanted it to. But kudos to Big Bobby Hades. He's actually being that front line. He's doing what Cheesy actually did on the Fred back in I think 2 days ago while he played against Shinigami. So they are actually doing the work that they are supposed to do as a jungler. And we see that last insanity actually going into conquest, and that will I say that buff coming into play there with that true damage. Getting that kill secure, but we see a Dominator's Ascent and that Tempest of Blaze to the backline. That Dominator's Blood actually gets cheesy, and we see Super Saiyan getting that grab onto Chimera, but it's all a Hail Mary play to no outcome whatsoever because there's no one to actually deal damage and he actually gets taken down. Spear of Destruction comes in, but it's a bit too late. Too late for Super Hatred. I don't think they're going in for that. And we see Big Baby Hades actually going into for Void Hacker. Super Hatred tries to answer. I don't think that dash super hatred. I don't know what's going through his mind right now. Probably he's having
But
some suicidal thoughts. He's having some suicidal thoughts, it seems, because I was not expecting him to dash into three people while they had all resources available to them still.
you can see that shoot from Chimera actually um, coming in clutch to actually to stop his dash resets here. But looks like Cheesy is going to try, and he actually steals the Lord. It's going to be
Oh,
Cheesy that secures. He
go
gets
back
caught by the
cheesy.
top, but no, he survives this with the Tempest of
No,
Blades.
he
But the
doesn't.
Grandchild is not going to let him survive. Oh, Ashley is not giving him any chances, but looks like he might drop here to the damage from Super Saiyan with the grab, but no, the shield
Yo,
from the
spell of
Lolita, and
destruction.
it's actually going to be the Spear of Destruction here.
Boom.
Shot down coming in from Void Hacker onto the Granger as she drops as oh my god, I can't even tell what's happening right now. We have Super
It's so
Hatred
much.
just dashing up and down, but Chimera is going to fall here, and Super Saiyan not giving them any chance to
Oh,
recover here, and it's going to be a double kill. They got the Lord, they got the fight. Only sociopaths left standing. The cartel have brought their mob and they are now ready to raid the base. Conquest trying to get sociopath here, but he might actually fall here to the tower damage. The Lord sieging on the bot lane. This might be good game, but Ashley trying his best to defend this, but
that's
no, Super
GG.
Hatred is focused on that base. Void Hacker
That's
spamming those
GG.
recalls, and it looks like that would be game two with a clean sweep here for El Cartel. Wow. Previously,
Uh,
they were on streams trafficking L's, but looks like they're trafficking bodies as they make it one step closer on the Gauntlet stage. But how do you think that that game fared out, Davis? This fraud pick here from Void Hacker actually getting the MVP,
I told you,
showing
man.
that
I
actually
told
it
you.
is the player and less of the hero. When he would have performed better on another hero, because I refuse to accept this. But Davis, what are your thoughts?
I mean, that was very insane. That was actually insane. First of all, the Lord secure from Cheesy. That was actually something that didn't see in my bingo cards today, especially given the superiority of that Appraiser's Wrath plus the Retribution combo coming from Fred. But somehow, some way, Cheesy actually got that Lord, and then they just pounced on them. Let's kudos to Void Hacker right there. well, he kept his priority on that Granger and actually secured the kill. And then Super Hatred coming in with that spell of destruction. It was beautiful chaos. It was everything that you needed from a Lord fight, and they actually delivered and pushed that advantage all the way from the Lord secure to the base. I mean, they started with a very subpar opening from the first game, but this second game they actually put up more of a fight and actually still secured the second game. The first game we can argue was a bit of a fluke, but this second game we can say it was just that player difference, that jungle difference that secured this game for the side of El Cartel. So kudos to Cheesy, and let's not just call him a mobile Fred anymore because he has actually delivered on two assassins back to back. But even more kudos to Void Hacker getting that unorthodox sax pick while everyone is focused on the Sicilian picks and the faster picks. He looks out of the meta and he still delivers regardless still. So this was one hell of a game and I hope we get to see more.
Yeah, I hope we get to see more. Right now, we see Alphazeroes with 0 wins here, and we see El Cartel trafficking Ws. So we have many more plot twists to come in the Gauntlet stage, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, 10 p.m. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your evenings.
Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you to everyone who tuned in today. It was an honor and a pleasure to co-cast with you, Stu, and to cast for you guys. So shout out to everyone who tuned in. Shout out to Edoga Mugen once again, and to Tata, to the last person to drop a chat on the group chats before we say good night. Shout out to you all. Shout out to Aizen in the group. Yeah, it was a nice what a nice night, and it was a nice showing from both teams. GG's to them. But once again, the better team won, and I wish them good luck in their future matches. So that's going to be all from us today. Good night and peace.